We were told we weren't going to see Kate at all till after Easter. We were not expecting a photograph of her now.
We weren't. Now, it is traditional for them to release the photograph on Mother's Day, and I had wondered if they were going to, but then amid the fevered speculation online and Kensington Palace last week talking about the madness of social media, I thought perhaps they might pull back from that so it didn't fuel those conspiracy theories and look as if they were responding to them.
And we don't want to repeat any of those theories, of course we don't, but I'm sure there will be some people watching and listening who don't go online and they're not on X or Twitter or whatever it is. They might not know when we talk about feverish speculation online really quite what we're talking about. So without joining in, which I think would be absolutely ridiculous of us, what kind of thing, just to give a vague impression so that people know what's going on?
Some of these were pretty light-hearted. Most of them were around, where is Kate? Well, we'd been told by Kensington Palace that she was going to be recuperating at home, but there was a lot of speculation about, you know, why she wasn't there. I mean, some of the more, you know, lighter-hearted ones were that she'd had, you know, a fringe cut and she was growing it out, that she'd had plastic surgery, for example. Some of them were really dark and really sinister. But what has put this into the mainstream now, and what has put this on the front pages of newspapers and being talked about around the world, actually, is the fact that 5 international news agencies issued a kill notice. Now, this has never happened before, as far as we know, for a royal photograph, but that is where those news agencies recalled the photograph because they couldn't be confident about its veracity. And the Associated Press saying that they believed the image had been manipulated by the source. The source of this image was Kensington Palace. It was, we were told, taken by the Prince of Wales last week at Windsor, and it was posted on their social media yesterday to mark Mother's Day, and in a way to try and quash the speculation and say, here is the Princess of Wales with her children looking well, and a lovely, happy image. And unfortunately, it has backfired.
I mean, is this the kind of thing that you might have expected maybe just a few short years ago to have been dealt with in a couple of phone calls from the photographic agencies to Kensington Palace or to the, you know, the comms representatives? You know, hello, we've got a picture here. You know, our detection process shows it, you know, looks like it's been tampered with, stroke edited a bit. Has it? What do you think? What should we do? Rather than this public announcement by 5 trusted photographic agencies of a kill. I mean, it all seems very dramatic and public, doesn't it?
The Press Association didn't do that yesterday, but they said they were waiting and they were trying to seek urgent clarification from Kensington Palace. This morning, they did then pull the photograph themselves, saying without having received any clarification from the Palace, they couldn't run it. They do have very clear codes of conduct in order to be reputable so that other news organisations know when an image is sent to you from the Associated Press that it is what you are seeing. I think we're in a whole new world here with social media, and once this picture was out, it was being analysed all over the internet by people who were picking up on the anomalies in this photograph. And there are multiple, you named some of them. And then we've had this very unusual response and statement from the Princess of Wales today saying that she did do a bit of editing on the photograph, like any amateur photographer, and she apologised for any confusion the photograph may have caused and wished everyone a happy Mother's Day. I mean, I feel great sympathy that she's having to do this and they found themselves in this situation when I think, you know, if we take this at face value, that photograph was meant to be a nice, happy family photo.
And it was. And it was a nice, happy family photo.
It was, but it has now raised more questions than it has answered. And then effectively, you know, it's poured fuel on the fire of those conspiracy theories, because if that image has been altered, and Kensington Palace, you know, royal sources saying that these are minor alterations, but people asking, you know, how has it been altered? Was it indeed taken last week? Can we believe what we're seeing? And that's ultimately what this comes down to. It's probably a clumsy mistake, but there is an issue of trust here, that what is being put out by the monarchy, by the institution, that we can believe that and we can take it at face value.
I just find it very difficult to kind of summon up or muster any real level of outrage about this. And that is partly because, as an inveterate Instagrammer, I know that everybody busily, you can say doctors, you can say manipulates, you can say enhances their pictures a little bit. So you take a picture and you notice in the back of it is a half-eaten biscuit. And you think, well, that's not a good look. I'll just take that biscuit out. You take out the biscuit. You know, there's a shadow on your face. You lighten the picture to make your face a little light. You're not deceiving anyone. It is you. You are there. You weren't somewhere else. It really, was you. You're not betraying trust, but you're just making it a better picture, just as, of course, all professional photographers do, unless it's a news shot snapped by a pap that goes out in black and white in the paper immediately or online instantly. But anything that has a little bit more time and money spent on it will be a photograph that's the best version of the picture taken that day, not the worst.
And that's why this story has escalated, though, because it has been sent out to news agencies to distribute to their clients all around the world. And those news agencies are very clear that they do not accept photographs that have been manipulated, photoshopped in any way. And that is why then we see it on the front page of all of the newspapers this morning, and we see it being broadcast all around the world. And I think it is a big problem for Kensington Palace. They have put out the statement, and I think that has, quelled some of the speculation about it. But there are still many questions, and there will be those who, don't believe what they're seeing.
Do you think there might be another statement, maybe one from Prince William, saying, look, anybody with young children knows to get them all looking in the right direction, smiling nicely at the same time is almost impossible. Even the Kardashians can't do it. They had to abandon one Christmas card shoot because the children just would not cooperate.
And we've all been there.
We've all been there. You're like, look at the camera, and they won't look at the camera. And if he said, all we were trying to do, we just wanted to get the nicest, jolliest Mother's Day picture we could. We couldn't get all three children looking in the same place at the same time. So Kate superimposed one picture on another, or she took a little bit from one and put it on the other, but it was all taken last week in the garden. And, we didn't intend to deceive anyone. We just want to give you the prettiest picture we could find. Do you think that would do it?
And I think that's the most likely explanation, isn't it? That trying to get a really nice photograph to put out and the pressure to have a good photo, knowing the stakes were pretty high on this one, the first image of the Princess of Wales since her surgery, and everybody looking at this for signs of her looking healthy, really, and encouraging signs. And that coming out of concern. I think that moment, though, has passed now. That moment was this morning when we got the statement from the Princess of Wales. And I think William has a red line when it comes to the privacy of his family. I don't think he'll want to go any further with this. There have been calls for them to release the original unaltered image, but Kensington Palace have refused to do that so far, and that is their right, but that does mean we can't answer those questions.
Sarah, thank you very much indeed.